Welcome to the Producer Mindset. You're looking for a real estate and business podcast that is raw, unfiltered, and authentic. A podcast that gives you insight into the growth strategies of industry titans. Well, here it is. Get ready for an amazing ride as your hosts Josh McQuaig and Michael Rivero talk weekly with special guests about the most important topics in the industry today. And now, here are your hosts, Josh McQuaig and Michael Rivero.
Hey guys, this is the Producer Mindset episode number 2. First episode, we talked a little bit about myself. Now it's time to talk to Mr. Michael Rivero. I've been having voice cracks recently just because of, I'm pretty sure.
You're still growing up. It's okay.
Still going through puberty.
It's all good.
I think it's because of the allergies, but we'll see. I don't know.
But or anyway, you're just finishing puberty. Who knows?
Probably that. But yeah, so we talked a little bit about how I got into marketing, how I got into real estate marketing, and what my journey looked like. And now it's time to go back to younger days of Michael and see exactly how he got into real estate and marketing, and really what were the events that took place to get him there. So let's start from age 0.
From age 0, man, I was in my dad's, just kidding. So first off, I'm out here at the beach, virtual beach at least.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like one of these Instagram entrepreneurs, my laptop and that's it, you know.
Exactly.
Well, that's kind of life now. But
Yeah.
Shoot, so taking it all the way from age 0.
So you grew up in Bolivia.
Yeah. So I mean, I grew up in Bolivia. I was there up until I was 14 years old. I didn't necessarily think or know what my entrepreneurial mind or my mindset, my producer mindset would be like. You know, plugging in the show's name right there really quick. But I honestly didn't know. I just knew for a fact that I didn't want to go to school. I wasn't the best of students, but it's because every time that I would actually pay attention to specific courses, like I would get it and I would get it pretty good. So I was pretty good at math. I understood math. I was doing like trigonometry when I was in like 6th grade, which was really fun.
Wow.
But I mean, still no entrepreneurial anything, right? Because being from a third world country, that necessarily isn't the agenda.
Right.
The agenda is more so like you're going to go to school, you're going to go to college, going to graduate, and you're going to get a job somewhere.
Yeah.
Where that somewhere was for me, I had no idea. Honestly, I would watch like Coca-Cola commercials and I would be like, I want to work there.
Yeah.
I had gone to the Coca-Cola factories. I don't think I've even told you this. Like I would go to the Coca-Cola factories and watch like how the bottles would get blown up and then ask like, my dumbass was asking questions like, what's the price per bottle actually? You know, like trying to figure those things out. And that's it. But like once I moved here, I think I chilled for a year and then I got my first job when I was like 15 and a half. And I think that's when I first got a taste of like being an entrepreneur and just kind of like figuring out what things were going to happen and be like.
Yeah.
So like, just to run through it really fast, like my first actual job was at Denny's, and the lady at Denny's was like super impressed with me the first day because clearly I could make a great employee. So I was the host and I was like wiping down menus, wiping down tables when people would leave. I was like filling coffees and everything was great. Everything was good. I think I made like $60 worth of tips my first day. I was like, oh crap, this is easy money.
Yeah.
You have to be nice to people and they respond, you know, they reciprocate. And then my second day there, I went in, same attitude, same everything, more energetic. It was a Sunday. It wasn't busy at all, surprisingly, at Denny's. And I was just doing my job still the same way. And at one point it got super slow. So I was just like kind of cleaning the area. And my manager came up to me and she said, "You're lazy." And I didn't turn around to even entertain the freaking thought I took my shirt off. I threw it at her and I said, I quit. Send me my check. I'm out. I will not have you call me lazy. I'm going to come back here and you're going to serve my food with all of my friends. So I had a kind of a mission to go back home and make money somehow. So the fastest way for me to do that was to get another job. So I got a job at Chick-fil-A or at an ice cream shop, and then I got a job at Chick-fil-A, and that's where I started figuring things out business-wise, because it was like some things just weren't clicking. And Chick-fil-A, if you hear this, don't sue me. But at Chick-fil-A, we would get coupons, and these coupons were like for free meals, right? So I'm like, why are we giving so many free meals away at the mall? Like they would give us like a stack of 600 Chick-fil-A meals, like free Chick-fil-A meals, but there was only like 30 people at the mall. It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I just took them to school. And when I was in school, I literally, during lunchtime, I would walk around the entire thing and I would be like, do you want to buy this? $3. It's an $8 meal. So for $3, it's a bargain, right? So I was just selling it. And I noticed it was like, all right, I'm selling it to you. If you know anybody that wants to buy some, just let me know.
Yeah.
Here's my number. And I would just have random texts and people just like, yo, I'm trying to buy some Chick-fil-A from you. So then I was a Chick-fil-A guy at school. And I was just like selling Chick-fil-A coupons all around. And then at one point I ended up leaving Chick-fil-A because I started working at a shoe department store. And at the department store, I used my discount to purchase like high-end sneakers like Timberlands at the time and soccer cleats and stuff like that. And I was just like, all right, well, I'm going to use my high-end discount. It's like 60% off, 50% off, if not more. And I was selling them a little bit over that. So I was making like $15, $20, $35 over retail. Well, not over what I paid for, right?
Yeah.
And it was the same thing. People got hip to it. Everybody wanted some shoes. So I became the shoe guy. And that kind of carried all the way through until I started Kicks to Fly. And that's when I think the whole marketing piece started making sense, because I had been doing it for so long, like at these jobs, right? I was doing it when I was working at the sneaker store, when I was working at Chick-fil-A. I worked at Michael's. At that point, I bought gum every day and I'll get like a 50% coupon. So selling coupons. So it's like all of these things where like sales was always a part of it, but I just don't know how to properly sell, and I didn't know how to properly market it.
Yeah.
Once I started Kicks to Fly, which was an Instagram page, and I think that's how you first even like heard of me.
I knew Michael. I knew Michael before I knew Michael. So he has a sneaker page that grew, massive following all around sneakers.
So this is back when Instagram was first starting, like 2009 to 2013. I think I had the page. Grew that to like 45,000 people, and it was all organic. And I mean, I was at that point, I was taking orders before I even had the shoe. And that's when that's when things started clicking of like, you just say yes and you figure it out.
Yeah.
So that was the one place where it started. And at that point, I was marketing myself on Instagram heavily, but I was also posting comments and links to my eBay posts and my Amazon posts all over social media. So one of the big things is like, if there was a Jordan release, I would go onto Jordan Facebook groups and fan accounts and basketball accounts like LeBron James, ESPN, like all the sham, right? I would go into their pages, and if they published one video that was getting over 1,000 views and over 10 comments, I was leaving my link right there. And I was getting anywhere between like 400 to like 700 views to my product every single day. And I was selling out every single time. So I was like, okay, this is cool. But as a whole, that was still like very guerrilla marketing the way that I think about it now.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I started applying some marketing, like in actual terms of marketing, it wasn't until I started working at this company called Fast Auto Loans. It was in Annandale, Virginia, and what we had to do, we were doing loans for people's cars, you know? So right off the gate, the first thing I had to think about is, how do I attract their attention? I couldn't do it through social media because they didn't let you do social media at this job, which was stupid.
That's stupid.
Very stupid. So I was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and take a look at my target demographic. Who's the most likely to want to get a loan right now? And so what I did is I did a breakdown. You've seen me do these breakdowns. I did a demographic breakdown of Annandale, and it was like 43% of them were like Hispanics, another 25 or 27% were like Asians, and they were black community, and there was like a white community too. But like you noticed exactly what the income ratios and everything was. So what I did is I took my business cards and flyers and I put them in supermarkets and stores for like the demographics that were likely to come and get a loan, which at the time were Hispanics, Asians, blacks. You know, sadly, like that's the truth. Please, if you belong to any of the races, I'm Hispanic myself. Like, sadly, that's the truth. But yeah, so
all about singling people out.
it is, but people don't like to hear that, you know. So like once I figured how to like find a target demographic, I was like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure I could find them online too. And I was selling loans off of my Facebook. You know, at that point, I'm like, hey, like a quick post would be like, hey, I'm giving away a $2,000 loan if you have this kind of car or you know anybody, and $100 referral fee. So
yeah,
referrals started coming in, people started getting loans, and it was just like, okay, well, this freaking works.
yeah,
I think that branch grew from like 2 million or 3 million to like 9 million. And then they wanted to keep me, but they couldn't afford me at that point because I realized, like, I figured out the game, you know?
worth too.
Yeah, I figured out my worth, and it wasn't like for 6 days a week at $45,000 a year. It just wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Driving all the way at the time from Manassas to Annandale just wasn't worth it. So I left, and a few years later, I ended up working at the same agency as you, and that's where I really, really learned all the technical wording of what marketing is. And it's a digital marketing agency, but in reality, it's just marketing. You know, I had been doing digital marketing for the last 10 years, for the last 8 years or 7 years at the time, without realizing it. So once I got in and I noticed, okay, well, I do this and this works for me. So now I just have to tell clients what I do and what they can do online, and then it'll work for them.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I'm just passing my knowledge, but now I'm learning the technical terms. You know, I had heard of SEO, but I didn't know what SEO was. And then once I got in, I'm like, this is just a bunch of bullshit that you guys are selling. But let me help you position it so that people understand it, you know? And it was like a combination of sales and marketing. It's funny how we started the conversation of like what the journey is from age 0, but I just had a quick realization that like my whole life I've been in sales.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, it's always been sales, but now it's like sales of marketing. So it's like, it was at that point when like we started working together and like we finally met and we talked for a while. I think it was, you know, James included in those conversations. James is also out of the rat race almost. Like we were talking about all of this stuff. And at the time, I think this is like 2017, 2018, when like it was all just a thought. But then from a very personal place, my mom started going through her divorce. And at that point, it was just like 100% apparent for me to like work with realtors once I got out of a job, because the only people that could help her was essentially realtors, loan officers who understood how to help people understand their process. And I understood how to, you know, help them understand their marketing. So it's just kind of like, sadly enough, my mom's divorce is the one reason that drove me to just niche down onto real estate and not look anywhere else. And, you know, I say that sadly enough because I don't know what other opportunities would have been out there. But the beautiful thing is that being so niche down within real estate was something that was like way bigger than, you know, personal gain or anything like that, just gave an entire outlook of opportunity of like, this is how to go about it, and this is how to be customer centric, and this is how to be customer success driven, as opposed of I'm just trying to cash out really fast and dip as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So, That's I mean, that's honestly how it all came about.
There you go. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
So there was one thing that I wanted to ask you about. Well, that's good. I mean, we both have our stories out there, and that's, I'm excited for people to start watching this and hopefully, getting some great information from what we're sharing and, the guests that we bring on.
Yeah. I think they will, more than anything, because it's the reason why we procrastinated on this for years, because I think we wanted it to be impactful, right? And the one
Right.
big thing that, I mean, I've personally learned over the last year of business has genuinely been, let's go ahead and be customer centric and let's be value adding at all times. It's never really been about the money or anything like that. And like you mentioned on the other podcast, we do take away a lot of responsibilities and hats that, professionals, real estate professionals wear within their business, and we apply it on their behalf to their brand, to their business, and it legitimately helps them grow like their exposure. So I think the one thing, as I was mentioning, the one thing is like sometimes, you have to let your gut and your time just decide for you. And the reason why this started like today, a year later, as opposed of, months ago, is we weren't ready then. And we probably wouldn't have given the amount of value to people then.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes,
It's crazy. Yeah. Looking back what we know now that we didn't know a year ago, we would be doing people a disservice.
It would have been great, I think, for any up and coming entrepreneur who wants to watch the journey, which is great. But in reality, I think we were very unselfish, and we thought of how is this going to drive value to the actual real estate agent, to the loan officer who we're trying to, educate, motivate, inform, and just, try to maintain some top of mind awareness in their sphere, so that when they think marketing in my space, they think of us,
Yep.
So it's been a fun journey. I honestly feel like with like your drive and passion with marketing and just overall like student mindset that you have, it's really been easy to constantly build, because it's always been like a very good like team effort that's gone out. So that's really cool. So thank you for that. But as a whole, anybody that's listening to this, thank you guys. Really appreciate you. And just stay tuned. So next week on episode 3, we're going to be talking about modern day branding versus old school branding. Modern day branding is really about how to position yourself online, versus old school branding was what can you slap your logo on. And sadly enough, a lot of you real estate professionals are still buying into the people that slap your logo onto things for you. Don't do that. Stop really wasting your money. Yeah. Branding is so much more than that, so much more personal. So we'll definitely talk about that. But anyways, that's it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions? Yeah. So at Top Shot DC, most definitely, that's going to be on Instagram. But if you guys really want to like get to know us, get to know me, just visit our website. It's TopShotProMarketing.com. You'll learn a lot about us. We're going to be putting up some videos for the team, like some video introductions. We'll have everything you need to know about us and our services there. So, but just connect with me more than anything. Let's be friends. That's the number one rule. Let's be friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, one last thing, because we're in marketing, what does marketing mean to you?
Marketing. Ooh, that's a really good one. So I think for me personally, marketing is giving people the opportunity to buy into your business without any buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
So because the sales remorse typically happens in the sales process, but you eliminate all remorse by educating, entertaining, informing, and just building relationships. And that's what marketing does. So that's honestly what marketing means to me. It's just, however we can put that in a pretty way. I might quote myself on that later, but yeah, that's it.
Good. I like that.
Yeah, man. So let's talk next week.
Sounds good. I will see you then. Bye.
That's it for this episode of The Producer Mindset, but be sure to subscribe for more business tactics, marketing strategies, social media tips, and more to help you create a more profitable online presence as a top producer in your industry. Don't forget to rate and review so we can continue to bring you the best content and the most insightful guests. Thank you for listening.